Hello YouTubers, we're back. I just want to talk to you about the new train. I just want to talk about this train here for just a minute. This used to be the CSX F781, was the outbound train to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now, recently, CSX has changed that back to the Q447 and Q448. Q447 is the outbound train, while the Q448 is the inbound train. This has grain cars, box cars, tanker cars. I've only seen this train once since they changed the symbol back. So, what you're looking at here is once I said, hold on, that's Norfolk Southern. But what you're seeing right now is an SD70 Mac. They're calling it an SD70 AC. Don't ask me why, but the proper name is an SD70 Mac. It's the SD70M with an AC motor. So 16 cylinders in there. That's powering this thing. It's about 4,000 horsepower. Then of course the big GE has 20 cylinders at 4,400 horsepower. So take a look at the trucks up here. I'm not going to get real close. I'll zoom in and let you look at these trucks. They're heavy duty trucks. You can see the chains that are linked in between the wheels. You also have the real EMD bell. You also have, let me move a little closer, the big 5,000 gallon fuel tank. And right here is one of the brake cylinders. I'm going to use the SD70 Mac. The air is pumped in, it pushes the lever and allows the brakes to clamp down the wheel and slow this train down. And once again, I've explained this. Another device you might not know is that sometimes, as big as these trains are, the wheels slip. So right there, that little squirter right there, it squirts sand onto the track, it creates traction, and that allows the train to get up steep hills. Now, believe it or not, sometimes the 4,000 horsepower that this big Mac provides isn't enough. So sometimes you see 2 or 3. As you see here, there are 2 of these engines. A question that I was asked was, when the train is sometimes running, he has 2 engines, but he has like 4 or 5 engines. Are all engines powered, or 2 of them powered and the rest free? So to answer that question, since there's only 2 engines here, they do all the power, they do all the work. That's 8,400 horsepower that's pulling this train. If you have 3, 4, 5 engines on there, there are actually still only 2 engines that are pulling the train. It can be the first and last engine or somewhere in the middle, but the rest of them are freewheeling. The purpose of that is technically a power move that's assisting a train. So that power will be transferred to either anywhere else that needs the power. Let's move around to the now. As you can see, these engines are really big. They're really high up in the air if you get on top though. Now we come on down here for a second. As you notice there, the headlights. The headlights are always on for safety, so everybody knows the train is coming. So let's look down here. That's the very front of the train, and that acts as a plow device. And in the wintertime, it'll push all the snow off the track. Isn't this awesome? A really, really good shot of this SD70 Mac. And seeing with this Q447 that's going to go out. The crew is up there. I've seen the crew. There's a couple guys up in the engines. You can see, I can see the dash panels from up here. And that's where he has controls of everything inside. So you can also see the door. From the engineer's perspective, it's on the right side. From the engineer's perspective, it's on the rail fanner's perspective, it's on the left side. We're going to go for the engineer's perspective on the right side. There's a staircase that's in there that leads him up into the locomotive, instead of going up the side and coming back. Now, as you can see, you probably shouldn't get close to some of these big locomotives, and you never should without having special permission from the railroad or someone to show you around. These things weigh hundreds of tons. And there's one thing you gotta learn today. Please remember this. Don't ever play on the railroad tracks. It's not only illegal, but it is extremely dangerous. One other thing I want to mention, ditch lights. I'm gonna zoom in real quick so you can take a look. The ditch lights are a Federal Railroad Association requirement. All locomotives should have these at least on the front. because they could not pass a railroad crossing without these on. That tells the driver or anybody else that the train is once again coming. It also added rear ditch slice to a lot of these engines, like CSX didn't add a lot to the bigger power, but Norfolk Southern did. So it allowed the engineer to have full visibility both front and back. As you can see, the headlights in between the number boards. A lot of the CSX engines has their headlight in between the nose for better visibility, like Union Pacific has done. Norfolk Southern hasn't done that, but I know Burlington Northern did. But that's just a little bit about the headlight position. See that GE is smoking just a little bit. But anyway, that will conclude this special here of the CSX Q447. I apologize that this train is not moving, but I'm really glad you got to hear the EMD Prime Mover and listen to the train as it battles its ways. He's going to take this out to North Carolina today. We've had a lot of rain in Virginia, a lot of downpours, so it's really good to see some sunshine again. So once again, I'd like to say thanks for tuning in with this special. Thank you to CSX for stopping this train, so allowing me to take a look. You know, I was really happy I was coming down the road and I was actually able to see this train, and it put a smile on my face. I'm really glad to be back home. I'm really glad to see this stuff again. So anyway, this is Engineer Pat saying thank you very much for tuning in on this CSX Q447 special featuring the SD70 Mac. So there's the Prime Mover for you once again. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Go CSX, how tomorrow moves, safety is a way of life, and go and long live EMD.